Hello, beautiful. Have you been thinking that it's time for a new look, a new hairstyle, but didn't want to commit? Now is the perfect time to mix things up. Try a fresh, new, low-maintenance hairstyle. Today's vlog is one of my most requested hairstyle topics, the ponytail tutorial. Today I'm going to show you step by step how to create this full, sleek ponytail with straight hair clip-ins. Clip-ins are the easiest way to experiment with a new look without changing your current hairstyle or sacrificing the health of your hair. If your hair is starting to thin, clip-ins add length, volume, and fullness in just a few easy steps. And there are clip-ins available for every hair type, texture, and color, including silver, gray, and every version of salt and pepper. If you're looking for a fresh new style that's versatile, works for casual and elevated look, low maintenance, low manipulation, protective, and polished, stick around because we're about to get right to it. Hello, beautiful. Welcome to another episode of The Beauty of Aging, a channel for every woman who's unapologetically growing bolder. I'm Angel, the founder of Maison 276 and creator of the award-winning 3-step system for silver, gray, and blonde hair, a healthy way to brighten, cleanse, and restore the natural brilliance of your hair without the use of purple dyes. On this channel, we talk about a lot of topics: beauty, lifestyle, wellness, and today we're talking about hair care, specifically clip-ins, which are an easy, simple to use, but fantastic protective hairstyle. Now, first, let's talk about exactly what clip-ins are. They typically come in a set, and they will range from either 3, 4, or 5 different clips, hence the name clip-ins. And these clips simply pop out, and then they attach to your hair. They anchor down to your hair that way. The style that I'm using today is from Soul Lady Wigs. I've been using this brand for about a year. I love this brand for several reasons. One, because it matches my hair perfectly. A typical salt and pepper blend, which is about 50-50, really doesn't work for everybody. I'm mostly salt, so the light silver version works perfectly for me. This style of clip-ins are the straight clip-ins that essentially mimic blow-dried hair. I've also used the natural curly wave-in clip-ins. I have a link to that vlog at the end of this one. So if you want a straight, full, silky ponytail, you can leave it just as it comes out of the package. I prefer a little bit more body in my ponytail. So I have a very soft wave that I've put in the clip-in that I use with a curling wand, and I'll show you how to do that right now. So I've got my curling wand set to 360. I'll be honest, this would be much easier if I had a wig stand, but I don't. It's on my to-do list. Essentially, what you want to do is obviously brush it out. And then I just take a small section of hair. Again, I'm not curling it. I just want a little bit of a bump. And I'm just twisting the curling iron and pulling down as I go. That's it. If you have a wig stand, you can just take a wig pin, and there's not a lot to attach it to, but you could attach it to that band right there, and then you wouldn't have to hold it. But it really doesn't take very long. It's not perfection I'm going for. I just want a simple bend in the hair. This particular set of clip-ins from Soul Lady Wigs comes with 6 different sections. 3 have 2 clip-ins, 2 have 4 clip-ins, and then 1 has 5. And I'll show you how I use each of them when I'm doing the installation. But now I'm just going to finish putting a little bend in that. And you see I'm grabbing big chunks of hair. The reason I love this texture is because it is exactly what my hair is when it's blow dried. And so it's a very natural look, and it's also why it blends in seamlessly with my hair. Now, it comes with 6, but I don't use all 6. I only use 5, and that gives me a full ponytail that looks realistic and doesn't feel like I have a cap on my head. But if you feel like you would want to use all 6 or the entire pack of whatever clip-in set you get, then that's completely up to you. My hair is also still very thick, so that's another reason why I don't need to use all of them. If your hair is thinning, then clip-ins are a great way to add more volume in a very natural way. Okay, we've got all the clip-ins with a nice little bouncy wave. I wouldn't even call it a curl. Okay, let's talk about hair prep. I simply flat iron my hair. This is clean, freshly washed hair. I basically air dried it. And of course, I shampooed with the Maison 276 3-step system, the Brighten, which is the brightening clarify step, the Cleanse, which is the gentle shampoo, and then the Restore conditioner, which I always use as a leave-in conditioner. And at least twice a month, I use it as a hair mask along with my heated conditioning cap. I have a full tutorial on how to use the 3-step system to keep your silver or gray hair soft and hydrated. If you are coloring your silver hair, because I always say I'm not the silver police, you can still use Maison 276 products because they are formulated for mature hair. You would simply eliminate step 1. Okay, so this is flat ironed hair, but it's not a silk press. I'm not going for bone straight hair. I just want to get it straight enough to match the texture of the clip-ins. And that's why this is a protective style for me, because I'm not using an extremely high heat on the curling wand. And in fact, some people can actually get their hair this straight with a blow dryer. Now, one of the things I always recommend whenever you use any kind of heating tool is a heat protectant. And for when I'm flat ironing my hair, I will use the Design Essentials Thermal Strengthening Serum. And as you can see, this is clear, and that needs to be your requirement for any type of product. If you have silver or gray hair, styling products either need to be white or they need to be clear. Otherwise, your hair, which lacks melanin, is going to absorb those colors and you're going to wind up with dull hair. So as you can see, lots of body. Now, one thing I will do, I will bend the hair in the back. So I'm going to just take a small section. It doesn't have to be perfect, just a small section, and you'll see why I'm doing that once I start putting the clip-ins. Essentially, I want to make sure that I don't have straight hair sticking out of a kind of body wave off curl ponytail. So I'm just going to take my curling wand. It's at 360. I do not use the manufacturer's recommendation for any styling tool because it will turn my hair yellow. I know that. So again, just like the clip-ins, doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just making a body wave so that it mimics the body waves that I put into the clip-ins. And that's it. Now it's time for the installation. Okay, let's get started. Now the first thing I'm going to do is section off my hair. So I'm going to basically go in halfway this way. Basically, I'm behind my ear, more or less. And I'm just going to take this and put it in a loose rubber band because this is going to be the part of the hair that covers up, that I want to make sure covers up the last clip-in. And then I'm going to, remember that leave out part, section that off. And you're going to have to, because everyone's hair is different in terms of thickness and volume. So you're really going to have to just experiment in terms of, the section, how thick the sections are between each clip-in. This first section is going to be different than all the rest. So I'm starting with a 3 clip-in section. And all of the sections are going to go down except for this one. This one, I'm actually going to put in my hair this way. So I'm going to turn around so you can see how I'm doing that. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to make sure, now that my hair is grown out, I'm kind of in the middle of I did a mini chop a few years ago. So now that my hair is growing out, I want to make sure that when I pull my ponytail up, like that I'm actually seeing my hair. So this is something I had to learn when I first got the clip-ins. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't staying in my hair. because it was my first time using any product, that a wig or anything close to that. And so you actually have to snap it open like that. That was nowhere in the instructions, so it took me a while to figure that out. That's why I wasn't adhering to my hair. So let me turn around so you can see me put that in. I'm starting in the center, and then I'm going to just there, and then you press it to snap it back in place. So you always want to make sure you hear that snap, and that lets you know it's in place. My next section, that was a 3-section. The next section is the longest, and that's the 5-section clip. So I'm going to open all of these up. Now, because I have the other section going up, I want to make sure that they don't bump into each other. This section is probably going to be about 1 inch. Again, just estimating, just kind of have to experiment. Okay, put that in a knot so you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to come here because it's a 5-clip piece, so it's going to be longer than that 3-clip piece. Okay, and I start this one in the center with the center one because I want to make sure it's even all the way around. You hear that clip? And you're putting it right in the part, right there. Clip. Let's see that. And let's go over here. And you want to make sure that's smooth. If it's uneven or buckling, you want to just lift it up and then snap it back in place. You want to make sure you don't get them all tangled because like real hair, it tangles very easily. Okay, so now let's unclip that part. And once you do this, a lot of times, and again, I'm going to come a little over here and grab some of that, you'll get a feel for it. It's more art than science. Clip that back. And now I'm doing the 2-3 clip-ins, and they're going to overlap a bit. So starting right here, and I don't ever put 2 combs on top of each other. I don't ever do that because that kind of makes it really lumpy. And you want it to be as smooth as possible because you want it to look and feel natural. So let's go right over here. I'll start right here on this one. And then I'll turn around so you can see how they're overlapping. And my final one is the 4-clip. Main thing is to make sure that I've got hair covering the last set of clips. Okay, now you have to be very careful with your comb or brush. You want to make sure that you're not going to pull the clip-ins out. And so now I'm just feeling to make sure I can't feel any of the clip-ins. None of them are peeking through. Take a mirror and look in the back and make sure none are peeking through, and you just want to make sure that feels smooth. And now I can do my part. I'm a side part girl. If you want to do a middle part, you totally can. Now I'm going to use this brush to smooth it out. Now I'm just smoothing and also blending my hair with the clip-ins. And as you can see, my hair is not bone straight, but using a low heat curling iron. Okay, now it's time to set my edges. So this is a great styling gel for silver gray hair, and for anyone, but specifically for those of us who cannot have colored styling products. This is Edge Fixer Extreme Hold Fragrance Free. They make a lot of different versions, but every version that has color, the gel is actually the color of the container. So you want to get the silver one because that's clear. Now you can use an edge brush, toothbrush, whatever. I just use the edge of my fishtail comb. And sometimes I even just use my fingertips because you're also going to brush some of that through. I'm super, super careful around the edges because I don't want to get brown makeup in my white hair. And in fact, I normally do my hair before I do makeup. I just have a makeup on for y'all. And by the way, if you're interested in a makeup tutorial, I've got plenty of those. Now we're going to just smooth that out, make sure we don't see any clip-ins. The edges are the only place that I put the edge gel. Now, if your hair is shorter, you might need to do that in order to make sure there are no flyaways. Now that my hair has grown out a little bit, I don't need to do that. And I'll also put some in the back, but that'll be after I adhere the ponytail. But now I'm just making sure that everything's blended and nothing is peeking out. Okay, I checked my mirror, but so you can see everything's smooth, blended. So now I'm gonna take a band. And remember, you want ponytail bands that don't have metal because you don't want it ripping your hair out. And I'm going to add some more. See, I've got a little bit sticking out there, not quite long enough to go in the ponytail. So as soon as I put the ponytail in, I'll fix that. Okay. Now, again, I used 5 of the 6 clip-ins, but if you want to use all 6, if you want an even fuller ponytail, that's perfectly fine. So I'm also going to add a little bit of edge gel right here. And then, again, I'm just using my nail a little bit right here. And I'm going to go back and brush that. It's really humid right now, been raining. So sometimes I will put more. If it's really humid, then I will actually take edge gel and put it all over the top. And as you can see, this is a very full ponytail. So we're gonna stand up now and do the finishing touches. Okay, let's put the finishing touches on this ponytail. As you can see, there's some hair sticking out right there. And we definitely don't want that. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab that hair, but also just a little bit of the ponytail. You want to keep checking on the mirror. Great. And we simply want to twist that and pull it around. And I'm also going to grab some of that hair that was hanging from under there and wrap that around the ponytail holder. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah. And then we're going to secure it with just a simple bobby pin. And since that bobby pin is not silver, I'm going to check to make sure you can't see it. Great. Now, I still have a little bit of hair sticking out under here. I'm going to actually curl that. I really want to make sure that blends in with my ponytail. And because it is super humid, I am actually going to put a little bit more gel of the edge gel here. As it relates to freeze sprays, I would just say test it on a small portion of your hair to make sure it doesn't discolor your hair. Because unlike styling products, you really don't know what's inside the bottle until you actually spray it. So just where I see those edges acting like they want to stick out, I'm just going to take the edge gel and apply it in the palm of my hand and then just cover those ends And now we're just going to brush that down. Great. And you can do that anywhere you see flyaways, because a little product really goes a long way. Okay, let's see about curling that part back there. Just that little part right there. I'm actually going to curl it right along. I'm actually grabbed a piece of the ponytail to curl it with it. And then finally, I'm going to set my edges with the silk scarf. I like to do that for at least about 30 minutes. And that sets all the edges, front, back, everything. And this is more than enough ponytail for me. If you want more curl, you can just add more curls. Take smaller sections of your curling iron. If you're in a humid environment, you can use a little bit of holding spray. Or if you want that bone straight ponytail, you can simply leave it as it is in the package. And then when you wash it, simply take your flat iron, the same temperature that you would use for your hair, and just pull that through the segments of the clip-in, and you'll have your bone straight ponytail look. Well, guys, here's our final look. It's smooth, sleek. It's perfectly blended with no signs of tracks or clip-ins. Now, for the last final finishing touch, I did decide to add a little bit of finishing spray. This is the Got to Be Glued. Just a light mist of this still leaves your hair soft, touchable. I still have body in the ponytail, but it gives me a little bit more hold with this humid Gulf Coast weather while still leaving my hair soft and touchable. Now remember, clip-ins come in all hair types and textures. So if you prefer something with a little bit more of a natural curl, check out the vlog at the end of this video. It's my first ponytail tutorial with my natural curly clip-ins. That version is also low maintenance, protective, and heat-free because it mimics the natural curl pattern of your hair. All of the products that I use, the hair care products and the clip-ins, all of those links will be down in the description. And also thank you to Soul Lady Wigs for providing us with a discount code. So use this discount code to get 15% off your next purchase. So please let me know if you have any questions about this style or any other protective style you might be interested in. Thanks so much for joining me on another episode of The Beauty of Aging. Remember, I love chit-chatting with you in the DM, so if you have any questions, comments, or other content recommendations, let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to join us every Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern right here on YouTube. We stream live every Friday morning for a chit chat. We talk about a variety of topics, and sometimes it's just open mic, and you can ask me about any particular topic regarding hair care, beauty, lifestyle, or wellness. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and please subscribe as we continue to grow our amazing Beauty of Aging community. And you can also join our community on Instagram, Facebook, and the new Beauty of Aging Facebook page. Thanks again, y'all. I'll see you the next time on The Beauty of Aging.